Off the Record is a show from 88.1 WKNC in which DJs talk with artists about everything from their music to upcoming tours to former bandmates' birthdays. Make sure to follow WKNC on SoundCloud and Tumblr so you never miss a beat. Enjoy.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy DJ Iron Mike, chilling on another beautiful Thursday for Local Rap Lunch. You were just listening to False Prophets by J. Cole. Before my computer messed up on me, that was a beat that I was working on too. But yeah, lots been going on the past couple weeks. If you've been paying attention, of course, Hopscotch was a couple weeks ago. The hurricane came through. Thoughts and prayers to everybody who's affected by that. Everybody, it's terrible for the people out east. So if you got anything that you can donate, any time to donate, anything like that, there's a lot of legit nonprofits doing work out there. I think the Fund for the Carolinas is doing a lot of good stuff. There's also a really cool task force of veterans called Task Force 75. They're out there conducting search and rescue operations and stuff, and they're all just ex-military dudes doing their part. So if you can get down to the coast or do anything you can do, try to do it. These are our neighbors out here, and anybody who's safe, I'm happy y'all are safe too, and so you can be listening to me today. But on a more fun note, I got the homie Oak City Slums back in the building. We're doing part 2 for this interview.
Hey, what's up?
You were up here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Talking about some things. Had some new music.
Yes, sir.
Very dope stuff.
Yeah, thank you.
Just dropped the album Not Well this week.
That's right. Last week.
It was like, I thought it was
last Friday.
Okay, last Friday. A lot was going on at that time.
Yeah, I know, right? It's kind of crazy, man. It was like the day of the hurricane, man.
Yeah.
And joint drop, man. I was really excited about it.
But yeah, the album's amazing.
Thank you.
I've been listening to it a lot. I'm a big fan of like what you do is pretty cool because you bring all kinds of electronic music together.
Yeah, I'm a hip hop head. I like bass music. I grew up listening to punk and death metal and rock bands and shoegaze and all kinds of stuff, man. So I pride myself on kind of wearing some of my influences on my sleeve. So yeah. I mean, I heard like drum and bass, house, everything. Yep.
Some old school techno stuff too. It's really cool. So last time you were up here, you were talking about how you started off when you started making beats, you were mostly sample based.
Yeah.
And then for this project, you did mostly it was pretty all original.
All original. Yeah. No. I mean, I had like one shots, vocal samples I made, and samples of So yes, samples, but the basis of the songs were all performed or wrote on a synthesizer or keyboard or something like that. So
that's awesome, man. So yeah, what I know we kind of talked about the process for making the album last time. So I guess y'all can go on the WKNC website and review that part. But you got a lot more. There's so much. That's why we're doing a part 2 to this. There's so much more to it.
Yeah, it was actually. I mean, not much more. I mean, I just as an artist, I was just trying to expand my abilities, and I have projects that are on the way that I'm doing the same thing. Like by the time I finished that project, I was already on to something else, and so I was just finishing up that project was just a time capsule of what was going on at that time, and now I'm on to the next thing, trying to do something new, trying to be better, trying to write better. I'm thinking about doing something more sample based again.
Okay.
There's some talks of collaborations with some heavy hitters around here, and there's also projects that I'm working on that I just want to do something different, maybe under new monikers and stuff like that.
Yeah. So rebrand,
whole new projects. Like I'm still Oak, man. I'll always be that, but I'll be trying to do some new stuff and just. I mean, I'm having fun. Like I said last time, when it's not fun no more, I'll stop. Right now, I'm having a lot of fun. So
that's awesome, man. And that's the thing. You've been doing your thing for a while, and I think that's like one of the creative blocks for a lot of people when you get into a flow, and then a lot of artists have a hard time trying to switch lanes, and
Right.
because you got to do that, you have to change
Right.
lanes to keep going.
Yeah, I think
So-
it's telling of the times we live in. You know, everything's too accessible. You know what I
True
mean? And so when you have, you know, access to a lot of different software, different programs, different hardware, I think people tend to get a little lazy, you know, because you know, it came easy. So, you know, I always make the joke to my friends, like, you need to read the manual. You know, like, so when you when you get a new piece of hardware or, you know, a new software or whatever, read the manual first so you can know its potential, because
Right.
chances are you're not going to use everything to its potential, but
Oh, that's a
that
fact.
just means you have more room to learn something, and as the time goes on, you find new ways to use it, and you know, it's easy to, you know, show people how to use something, but it's really hard to make, you know, show people how to be creative, you
That's-
know.
yeah,
But
that's a
I
fact.
think knowing your tool as well as possible helps you be creative.
See, that's the thing in like electronic music and like, you know, beat making, all that, you know, the old school people, you know, the old heads kind of dump on us for having like all equipment, electronic equipment and stuff. But I always tell people, because I do, you know, I work at Guitar Center part time.
Right.
I'm always telling people like that's an instrument.
Yeah.
Like that sampler is an
That's all
instrument.
it is.
You have to learn that instrument.
Right. And it doesn't matter. Like I feel more creative when I have a piece of hardware in front of me.
Yeah.
Where some people, they feel just as creative. And I know I have friends who are like some of those creative people, and all they use is just a laptop and
Yeah.
the software that's on the laptop. They don't use any type of
Any kind of-
controllers or any type of gear, and they make fire music. And that, I don't hate on any of that. I prefer hardware. I feel like I can be more creative with hardware, and it's, you know, it's the science of the software and the accessibility of software that makes it easy for me to record it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to go to a major studio. I don't have to link. You know, even though I do have like a tape, I can run my stuff to tape. I don't use that much, honestly,
Yeah.
because they all, you know, they have all these different plugins and stuff to make yourself sound vintage and lo-fi if
Yeah,
you
that's
want to
what I
have
was
that
saying.
feel.
Yeah.
But I, you know, with the hardware, I kind of started achieving that from the jump. You know what I mean? So I just think hardware is more fun, which I'll probably later on interview when we get to something else. I'll talk more about hardware, because we got some stuff coming up.
Okay.
That we're trying to get people
Trying
more
to get
interested in
people-
hardware. You know what I mean?
All
You know,
right.
see, to jump on board with, you know, the tactileness of hardware.
All right. So like
Yeah.
events like around the city. and
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah. There's already talks of some other people starting some stuff. I just want to be another hand in it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, yeah, we'll talk about it.
Speaking of events,
Yeah.
the little crazy event a couple
Hey,
weeks
man,
ago.
Look, that was I don't know, man.
Now for
That
the
was-
masses, when Slums was up here the last time we talked about hopscotch, it was before hopscotch. It was like a week before hopscotch,
Couple
2
weeks,
weeks
yeah,
before
yeah.
hopscotch.
Yeah.
You know, there was some obvious omissions from the lineup, and you know, we kind of talked about off the record. Everyone's a hater when they're not on the when they're not on the lineup.
Yeah.
Everyone loves everyone when they are on the lineup.
Right. So yeah, so my main thing is like, if it's not my party, like I really don't have much to say about it. So
Yeah.
I still don't have much to say about hopscotch. I didn't go. The lineup wasn't appealing to me, so I just didn't go. So in efforts, and I felt the consensus that a lot of people I knew, which I'm, you know, me being kind of involved in a lot of different parts of the music scene in the area, I felt a lot of people just felt a little kind of like, you know, like the
What's going
lineup
on here?
was kind of like a
What is
little
this?
lacking, and so.
Yeah.
And me being particularly more looking forward to, like, you know, some of the electronic acts, you know, kind of traditionally, like Saturday night was like you'd go and see like the big electronic act, you know,
Right.
either like Cam, and then they started doing stuff at the Raleigh Convention Center.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I was kind of like, oh yeah, let's see what's going on, you know. And it's just like, it was, you know, it just wasn't something I was into, and that's okay. Like, you know,
Right.
I don't have to be into it. You know what I'm saying? It's, they don't put a festival on to please
Just
me.
to please you.
You
right.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I never have anything to say about it in that aspect. But, you know, conversely, I can, you know, as an artist and somebody who is involved in the local music scene, you know, I felt a need to put on, you know, something that me and the homies can have fun doing, you know. So me and the homies put our resources together, you know what I mean? And we put together something that was legendary, you know what I mean? Like we've done it before. It's not the first time it's happened, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I wasn't surprised that it happened. I was excited though. It was nice. It was nice. It was a nice feeling to be like, people felt like they got to do something during Hopscotch weekend while everybody's going to see. Like, I mean, honestly, I would have loved to see Thundercat. I would have loved to see Miguel.
Right.
But I'm not paying that kind of money. I don't have that kind of money.
People.
Yeah, to see two, 3 people I really want to see, or the some of those bands is like, I know these bands. I'll see them another time. You know what I mean? Like, and that's a part of the event supposed to be something like special. You know what I mean? So that's what we did. We like all these people. I had homies from Charlotte come through. I had homies from Boone come through, and we put together something that was free, which is always like I try to make everything as cheap as possible. That's like always my first goal. Is like, how can I make it as cheap as possible? How can I get as much money as possible to pay the artist? How can I make the lineup look as crazy as possible, as diverse as possible, without offending people? With pay. I mean, so it's hard. It's hard to ask people to come do something and they know they're not going to pay a whole lot of money, right? So you're kind of like doing this balancing act of, because I'm not making money either. So I'm putting time and effort, time away from my family, time away from making art to put an event on that hopefully pops.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then on top of that, you're asking like people to donate their time, and they did. That's always, I mean, you know what I'm saying? And so like, I mean, and not again, not to flex, but it shows you the character of everybody on that bill. Mainly, I'm not going to name drop anybody. If you weren't there, you didn't know who was there. There was some big name people.
Well, you're on the radio. You can name drop.
Right, no, but it
was a public event.
Right, but they can look it up then, right? So, but there were some big name people, like people that performed and people that were just there. Big name people that they get paid a lot of money for their time.
Yeah,
and they came through for no money. To support me,
off the love,
to support the homies, to support Raleigh beat scene, Raleigh producer, rap scene, and so that showed me like, there's something else going on, and the people are here, the community is here, and I feel like some of the festivals do overlook that.
Yeah, they
overlook some of the pillars in the community, and then they look to others to be the pillar when they're actually not the pillars of the community. And it's not, again, no slight to them. That's just none of my business.
Right.
I can have my opinion about it, but the fact is, I know a lot of people that are like pillars in this area to the local music scene that weren't involved with any of the decision making, which is, again, that's none of my business. Right. But I think you as a entity would be smart to reach out to the movers and shakers in the area.
Just makes sense.
Right? Yeah. I mean, just like, look.
At least a phone call. Like, hey, because you can't make it out to everything.
No, of course not,
like,
man.
So if I know from what I know, it's a pretty small unit that makes those decisions.
It's very small, and it's like they know we all know who each other are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not like you don't know who I am, I don't know who you are, or you don't know who this guy is, you know who that guy is. It's like, you know who these people are. It's not you just decided not to reach out to them. Exactly. And it's just like, okay, well, that's none of my business. Well, I'm going to reach out to them. We're going to go do something real crazy, okay? And then we're gonna, I mean, and the fact is, like many other parties we've done, and other people, Party Legal, us, Discovery, they've done things that people talk about still today, which I don't like living in the past, but it just shows you what we did at one point or another. And then throw that party a couple weeks ago is the same thing. So it's just letting you know that, we are out here, like, and it's not always about like the money. It's not, we did that with no money.
Yeah.
And people got to just walk in, which people couldn't even appreciate it because they didn't have to pay to get in. And the fact is, like, they just walked into like one of the craziest parties that happened all year so far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
sold out. I mean, like, so at capacity for 2 hours.
Yeah, at capacity. Like
that
one
doesn't
and one
happen.
out. No.
I've seen, we were talking about before, like, I've seen clubs and whatever, like, get at capacity for a little while, but you always end up getting in 2 hours of at capacity, 1 in, 1 out. That's a legendary
you leave,
thing.
You're out. You know what I mean?
And that was a free, unofficial event.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like, you didn't have to no membership, no nothing. Shout out to Emerge. They let us come in there. Their system is smacking. They have
the best system.
Hands down. For the size club, it is the best system for the size club.
Absolutely.
But definitely probably one of the clearest, nicest sound systems in the area, which is a huge deal. But
the owners over there, they actually care.
They actually
which
care,
is really cool.
Right? And then, shout out to Paul at the studio in there. Shout out to Heather. Shout out all those people. Like, they literally just let us come in there, do our thing. Which for us as artists, that's the biggest. That's the biggest thank you. Like,
Yeah.
like let us just come in
On a weekend.
Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Let me just do my thing, and then you let us like peel out like that.
Yeah.
That was awesome, man. You know what I'm saying? And again, like, who knows what that club will become or not become, but to be able to play on that sound system is awesome, man. It was amazing. You know what I'm saying?
It sounded amazing.
Right.
People were into it,
Right,
really
man.
diverse crowd.
Yeah.
There was something for everybody, which is what made that event
Exactly.
awesome.
That's
So,
what was really nice about the event, man. It wasn't, unfortunately, we didn't have bands, but there was bands playing all weekend. I mean,
Right, but you
I don't
need
know a
that.
single person whose band wasn't on Hopscotch.
yeah.
It was like literally like Band Central, which is great.
Yeah.
Again,
Essex Borough wasn't on the official. They were on a day party.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, but they still got it. They still got
got in, though.
promoted.
Yeah.
And so one of the local publications said, "Oh, this is a Hopscotch after party." We said, "No, this is a Raleigh party. This is happening during Hopscotch, but this is a Raleigh party. Like, we did this just for people in Raleigh that didn't want to go to Hopscotch or don't have the money to go to Hopscotch, but want to see something crazy." You know what I mean?
Now, see, I think like when it comes to especially like hip hop and electronic music, underground electronic music, like not the stuff you see at like EDC and all that.
Yeah, no.
Well, like underground electronic music, hip hop especially, when you get to the point where you're depending on gatekeepers to put you on, it's always dangerous, man.
Right.
Like and people have called you a gatekeeper. I know you don't like. People have called me a gatekeeper. I don't like hearing that either.
Nah.
Because that's not what the culture is
Such a
about
thing,
at all.
man. Honestly, all it takes is somebody taking the time. I spent money to put on shows.
Yeah.
I spent countless dollars to put people on, or to make sure I had just enough money in my bank account to pay artists. I've asked friends of mine who are wealthy to give me hey, I just need like a couple $100 just in case it flops.
Yeah.
So I can make sure the artist gets paid. And so it's like people are not willing to put the work in, or in my case, look to my resources or people that I know can help. Again, like I'm looking out for other people. There's been very few times that I've made a lot of money off a show. But if I made a lot of money, that means everybody else
made a lot of money.
Exactly. So
exactly.
So to be called a gatekeeper, I'm not really down with that. But I definitely look out. For like all the homies, artists. The way we handle ourselves in the community, the way we try to handle the community of musicians. I don't really care how you identify or don't identify, white, black, gay, straight, queer, whatever. If you're a musician, I dig it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so we're trying to handle everybody the same way. Like, hey, you do art, let's hear your art. You know what I mean? If we dig it, cool. If not, and you think you're that hot, do what we did.
Yeah.
Like I literally went out and bought sound equipment that I still own, and we went into small spaces, like Nice Price. We went into, Cam invited us to come do a little show in Cam once, and I brought that was my equipment. Again, like I spent the money to put just me and the homies on. Right. You know what I mean? Like we just want a place to, like, we don't want to just show people in our home studios anymore. We want to show people out in the public.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, and clubs weren't letting us in. Every club in here that I've played now, at one point told me no.
Really?
Or just didn't holler back at me. Every single one of them. I don't care which one you're talking about, except for Emerge. But Emerge wasn't anything when I started.
Well, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah.
You have a residency with them.
Yeah, so I spin at Emerge every Saturday night, and they pretty much give me Saturdays to do what I want with it. So I guess kind of jumping the gun, we plan on doing some more showcasey shows, like not like open mics or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like, hey, you probably never heard of this person because it's their first show.
Oh, okay.
Like we used to do with Sunday Shake.
On a Saturday.
That's
what's up.
Right.
That's awesome.
Obviously you have to have some type of polish to your
obviously, yeah. You're not
your art,
rapping over your vocals or
we're probably not gonna. Yeah, if you're still at that level, then I don't know. I mean, maybe I don't know. All we're trying to do is offer some type of like step. Like, hey, like, I mean, Emerge is not like you're not popping if you play to Emerge. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, but it is something to say, like, I did finally play my stuff on a really nice big system. And then I finally, I'm finally got that first show under my belt, which we were doing like, a year and a half ago, 2 years with Sunday Shake, was basically for pretty much anybody could play Sunday Shake.
Yeah.
If I never heard of you and somebody gave me your name and I thought like, hey, this is pretty good. Like maybe it's not even my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I probably put you on it. You know what I mean? And so the Saturday thing, we're going to be kind of mixing things up. Hopefully, doing more hardware shows. You know, so probably leaning more towards house and techno and drum track type music. But just trying to mix things up, make people, trying to do things different. You know what I mean? Like obviously me being a hip hop head and really into electronic music, I have my own style. I'm into footwork. I'm into that side of electronic music. But, you got people like Foot Rocket. He does a lot of more kind of French house type thing. Like I like all of it. So we're trying to put like, and he got his start with me as well. Like, okay. I mean, like I know him since he was like, probably 5 or 6, man. And like,
wow.
yeah, no, like he went to my church, like, and so like I was producing, and so then he like, I don't know what made him start producing. I don't think I made him start producing, but he started kind of coming around and listening to my tracks and hanging out in the studio, and I kind of helped him polish what he was already doing. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to do the same thing. I'm just trying to offer outlets for all this stuff going on, and it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be a big festival. You don't have to want to try to, get your first start on MoFest. That's probably not going to happen. That's probably going to happen anyways. Like, or Hopscotch or one of these big festivals or one of these huge shows. It's like, hey, look, I know there's great talent out here. And even that show we put on, a lot of people didn't know who pretty much anybody else on that bill except for the 3 big names that were on there, including Juice.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people were like, oh, well, who's this? Who's that? Where are they from? How do you know? I mean, people I know that I talk to all the time, they're just like, who's that guy? And I'm like, I met him on SoundCloud or something. You know what I mean? Like he's from Boone. Like, so like my homie Lavier came through from Boone. Yeah. My homie Accent, my homie Fells, they came through from Charlotte. And people are like, where do you know these guys from? I was like, man, it's from around, man. Like, playing shows. I know guys all over Asheville. I know guys all through, Southeast, the Northeast, man. It's just, keep my ear out. But as much as I know those guys, I know there's people around here that I know nobody knows who they are. I don't even know who they are yet, but they're making hot music.
Yeah.
Like I met a guy named Black Box Theory. He's out of Greensboro.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, his stuff is so hot, man. He does all hardware, and like we're trying to get him down here. And so it's just trying to keep offering something fresh, something new. You know what I mean? It's like, I think unfortunately in Raleigh, the gatekeepers keep going to the exact same people. And
right.
So the show might be a different venue, but it's the exact same lineup. You know what I'm saying? And we're trying to avoid that. Even
absolutely.
For myself, I don't want to put myself on everything.
And a bunch of different genres too. It's like it's not just limited to one scene. Like
no, everybody does the same thing.
Right.
Something gets hot and they wear it to death, man.
And that's the thing though. It's like this scene, even though like it's really kind of easy to not easy, but it's tangible to make your own movement in this city more than any other city. You can't do what we do in New York. No, you just can't.
No,
it'd
be hard.
Matter.
You can, but it'd be hard.
It's
man.
hard. You have to have a lot more clout.
Yeah,
but
and your hustle's got to be straight, man. I think it really comes down to is your hustle, man. You got to get your hustle straight, man. I think
absolutely.
What people get away with in Raleigh would never get away with in Atlanta and in LA or New York or Chicago. No. Any one of these bigger scenes of music, this kind of
prime example to cut you off.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, not to cut you off, but prime example is my homeboy Layer Cake up in New York. Dope ass street artist.
Mm-hmm.
Started off like Zulu Nation back in the days, tagging up in New York City, getting arrested for it, has felonies for it, all kinds of stuff. He's been at it for years and years and years. He just got put last year in the World Trade Center gallery.
Wow.
But he's been doing his own, like he hustles gallery shows like the way you hustle music shows and stuff.
Yeah.
But he's been doing it. He did work for MTV Music Awards.
Wow.
So no love at all.
That's crazy, man.
But then all of a sudden, like you finally get to that. So like, what I'm saying is like you can be super dope in another city and not get
no love, man.
Work for MTV's,
crazy.
MVMAs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we really are blessed here. But the problem with that is there's also no money.
There's no money. I don't believe that either, though. There's some money. There's money, but you got to be.
People don't want to shell it out.
They do. I think it's both. The artists don't want to take this low cut. Mm-hmm. Again, like if I wanted to, I could really stunt and really tell you how much I get for some of these shows I play. I've been paid a lot of money for some shows, and then There's shows where I've been paid. They're like, yo, we got like $50. And I'm like, all right, man, I'll come through. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, but because you got to be willing. Because the fact is, I'd rather see something cracking than to be like, oh, well, you don't have the X amount of dollars to pay me for a show. Well, all right, well, I can't really come through. It's like I weigh things. If I know you're making money at the door and you're making a certain amount of money at the door, I'm gonna weigh it knowing that, hey, there's probably gonna be this many people there, and you're selling tickets at such and such dollar.
Right.
Well, I need a piece of that because now I'm the headliner, I'm the co-headliner, wherever position I might be in the lineup. It's gonna change all those dynamics. Where if I know this is like a local show, they're charging a couple bucks to get in, or it's free. The guy's putting it on. I know he's in the hole already for how much he spent.
Right.
It's gonna be like, okay, well, hey, look, man, just throw me some gas money. I know you got gas money.
Yeah.
All right, and what? I'm just down the street. It's at the club down the street. Great, I'll be there. No problem. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's different. I think the money is there, but the artists have to be willing to take a smaller cut when they're talking about regular town shows. You know what I'm saying? Little,
Right.
You're playing a show at Slim's or something like that, or we're not talking about Red Hat. We're talking or even Lincoln, right? Like, when you start packing out Lincoln and Red Hat, there's some significant amount of money that came through. Now,
Right.
Hey, I need a piece of that. No, but then when you start talking about, a place like Emerge, you start talking about Kings, you start talking about some of these clubs that, 200 cap, you know what I mean? Like, you're charging, and the guy's like charging, $15 a ticket for some guy, like for us.
Yeah.
We live here. Like, I mean, people are not likely to come to a show and it's $15 a tickets.
Yeah.
But I just saw him last week for free.
Right.
Right, you know what I mean? So
absolutely.
it's like, so you have to kind of balance it all out, I think. And I think promoters, some promoters are pretty slimy, but I don't think anybody around here it can be properly defined as a promoter. Like it's pretty much artists putting on shows, including myself.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't call myself a promoter. I call myself an artist.
Now there are promoters.
Yeah, and they're probably slimy, right? But
I'm not,
right. But
there's the types of promoters that are doing stuff on Capitol Boulevard with having Young M.A. come for
oh my gosh,
for 10 minutes.
Well, we
club.
don't play those shows, so
yeah, no.
but yeah, I mean, but that's a whole different scene of people. They're not
Right,
involved in the music scene. They're businessmen, or want to be businessmen, and I think when it comes down to it, everybody's trying. I mean, me and Tree City talked about it, a day ago. Like, I don't feel comfortable asking females to play for free, so that limits my because I feel uncomfortable
Why
doing
is
that. I just feel like it's already a problem. Females getting paid a certain dollar amount because there is some misogyny and chauvinistic attitude, and particularly in electronic music. I've never partaken in it. If I can't pay a female the exact amount as all the other guys, I'll try to pay her more.
Okay.
So just to be fair, you know what I mean, and to show love, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always trying to show love if I can, but I don't feel comfortable asking females to play a show for free. So that's why the party last week, I know Sarah the instrumentalist.
Yeah.
That's a friend.
Mm-hmm.
I know Away Message. Those are friends of mine that I still don't feel comfortable asking to play for free. But if I have a small amount of money, I'll ask them. But I typically don't. I just don't feel comfortable doing it. If somebody else feels comfortable asking for me, I guess. But so I mean, and so that actually it really limits my ability sometimes to put together some of these like free shows. Because now if a female tells me, hey, holler at me anytime. Well, I'm gonna holler at you then. You know what I mean? I'm gonna let you know, like, hey, I got the show. Like, we ain't got no money or whatever, but it's gonna be fly. You know what I mean? Like, again, on the after hopscotch party, I told all the guys, look, I will have you something. Like, it's not gonna be it'll probably be enough to get you a Happy Meal. You know what I mean? But I promise you, it's gonna go off. So I gave them an experience rather than I didn't have like a whole bunch of money, and that kind of goes into a different conversation of guys saying like I'll give you exposure. Like I don't even offer that.
Yes, those
it's
guys,
like look, I'm telling you, like it's gonna be fly because of like who's on the bill. I know what we're about to do. You know what I mean?
But at the same time, it was still exposure.
It was
regardless,
right, but that's
Because
it, but that
even
wasn't
for
part of the
Juice's-
conversation, though.
Even for Juice's set, you know,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
It's crazy.
There were a whole bunch of unfamiliar faces.
Everybody in the room, I didn't recognize 3/4 of the room.
Now, I had one of my old bosses was showed up.
That's crazy.
Drunk as hell.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, what's going on?" But
That's
like, you know,
crazy.
he was like, you know, someone I wouldn't expect to be
Right.
at a party. Middle-aged guy.
That's what we're trying to
You
do,
know,
though, man.
And
We're-
that's, you know, that kind of, like, I was going to ask this too. Like,
Reach.
I think one of the biggest obstacles for local artists, especially local artists who curate their own shows, is that separation between the scene, the people who you know are going to be out.
Mm-hmm.
You can do a show. I can put together a show for next month. I know exactly who I can depend on being there.
right, of course.
You know, but the block is always, how do you get into the people in Raleigh that don't even know that there's a music scene
Right.
out here? You know, the people who hang out at like Cornerstone or,
Right.
you know, Glenwood South for the most part.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
that's, I think,
I
the
think
part-
it's being realistic, right? So it takes the community to kind of get it popping. Again, I pride myself on knowing a lot of different people. So and that kind of makes its way into kind of people I keep around me. Like, I don't keep people around me that are just like, they're just one dimensional.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, the kind of people I keep around me are people that are into other people or into other cultures or into other, you know, lifestyles. And so, they're not just one dimensional. They don't just do one thing. They're just not into one thing. And so that makes its way into the people they keep around them.
Right.
So the fact is a lot of people I talk to, I hang around, they're not like, most of them are not like me, actually. And my music and my influences, I think it takes a lot more than just saying, like, I want to reach these other people. If you don't speak their language, you don't speak their lifestyle, you don't speak their culture,
Yeah.
you're not going to get them. They're not going to relate to you. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of it is, you know, it gets at a certain point, it is just your friend showing it to your shows. Then it's your friend saying, like, yo, you got to come check my homie out.
Yeah.
Then they come. And then then it's the random, hey, yo, I'm going out to such and such. I saw him a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Let's go, come check him out with me.
Right.
And being realistic about the expectation. And then when you see 10 people there, then you're like, okay, I want to see 15 people there next time. Okay, I want to see 20 people there next time. And you're reaching that. And like, as you keep hustling, you keep trying to reach for those goals, you keep the goal real small. Right. And then as you keep reaching these small goals, you're also simultaneously, you're putting forth 110% if there's 5 people in front of you.
Right.
You're putting together 110% if one person shows up. I've played to an empty room and I went in.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I played to an empty room and I went in. Like, I'm like, yo, somebody should have seen this set. This was crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, me and Juice did that actually a few weeks ago. One of the people I work with, he has a band. They were putting out an album. They've never put on a show before. Tried to help them kind of like figure it out, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of work that you got to do for yourself.
course,
you know what I
man.
mean? And they just, you know, it was their first show. They couldn't get it together. They were like 15 people,
Hey.
20 people at Kings.
And you went in, right?
And me and Juice, like, we went hard as hell. But
Yeah.
those 15 people that were there, you know,
Showed love, right?
Exactly.
So next time, what's going to happen? Those 15 people are going to meet up with your 30 people. Now you got 45 people at your show.
Yeah.
Now, again, you're going to get the people that just walk in or kind of haphazardly find out about the show, and it's just a progress of always putting forth your best work, regardless
you never
of
know who's watching.
You
That's-
never.
that's what it is.
Here's a fact.
You
And I
never know
always
who's
tell people
watching.
this. Every big opportunity I've had, big shows I've played, major shows I've played, have come from small shows.
Yeah.
Like, I've talked to somebody at a show I played and there was 5 people there.
Well,
but this person happened to be there, and boom, like now they put me in front of 1,000, 2,000 people. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of crazy
No,
how
that's
works.
that's just facts. Like, you go to like big festivals like A3C, South by Southwest. The A&Rs and the rich dudes aren't chilling at the show with like
Nah.
1 million people because they don't want to be involved in all
They
that.
don't. You're right.
They're going to the one that they can just like sit in the back
Pop
and drink a
in.
beer.
That's right, man.
All that.
You're absolutely right. And it's, you know, nothing's the exact same way for everybody. I just know for myself, my whole time I've been producing and playing shows is I've put my best foot forward, and that's for me. I try to do that with my life.
Yeah.
You know, so with my children and my wife, I'm trying to be the best husband I possibly can be, even when I don't feel good or I don't feel right in my head. I'm trying to be the best father I can possibly be when it's like those days are hard to be that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's hard to see 5 people in front of you when you just played in front of 2,000 people like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you're standing in front and nobody cares about what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
You know, but you're like, I'm going to go in anyways. And that's happened to me many times. You know, where I've played on big, huge show, or even if the show wasn't huge and big in number, the energy was crazy, and that reciprocation from the crowd was there. And then I go to another crowd, or a different venue, even, or a different state, and I don't get the same love. And you're like, man, it was popping last week. I did the exact same set last week,
Yeah.
But you have to be willing to be like, hey, well, that just happens. You know what I mean? And so, because there's going to be that one person there.
Mm-hmm.
So 20 people came to my show last week. That one person was really digging my set. Now I got 21 people that came to my show.
Yeah.
And people don't think of it like that.
No.
They're looking. They want to sell a show out first go around. And it's like, you think that's going to happen? No,
absolutely not.
And even some of the shows I've been on, and some of the events I've played, and some of the things I've done, it's like it doesn't make up for a whole career. You know what I mean? It doesn't make up for J. Cole's in town. And I'm playing the same night as J. Cole. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, you only got your name ain't that hot, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can't even expect your friends to
man. And so even so it's like tomorrow night we got the show at Runaway. We're doing the shirt release, collaboration. The shirt is fire, right?
It's the album cover.
It is.
I literally just pieced that together. But
so yeah, it was part of this album. There's like one whole thing. The party we're having tomorrow, it's from 8 to 11. I try to make it where if anything else was cracking off, people could at least stop in my joint and then go somewhere else.
Somewhere else, yeah.
And so Gemini, Tennis are playing at the Pinhook tomorrow night with Leaf.
Oh yeah, with Leaf. Yeah, that's
right. So I expect everybody
right down the block.
It's literally not even right literally at the corner.
On the corner,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So, for me, I'm not worried about whether people will be at my joint. I know people will be at my joint. Different people will be at my joint than Leaf. You know what I mean? Like everybody thinks like, oh, because Leaf's gonna pop, like ain't gonna be, nobody will be here. It's like no, people will definitely be there. A whole different vibe. You know what I mean? Right. But what we're gonna do too is we're gonna pack up and we're gonna go walk in the Leaf. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And so like, for me, it's all about like momentum. Kind of bringing everything full circle. I'm great. I'm happy that Hopscotch is putting on shows or putting on events. I'm happy MoFest puts on events. Would I like to see more locals and them putting a spotlight on locals? Most definitely.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking for big companies to do that for me. The fact is we are doing that all year long.
Right.
And it takes everybody who's even listening now to say, hey, I'm going to start going to some local joints. The fact is, if you missed our party, you missed out.
Yeah,
like,
you
big time. Now, I'm not talking like, yo, it was kind of lit, yo. It was like, no, literally everybody and their mom swung through that party.
Everybody.
Except for you. And you weren't there. I don't know why, but you weren't there. And it's literally for free. Yeah. Like what else can we do for you to put on one of the hottest shows that happens all year? All you had to do is just get out of your bed or walk down the block and walk in.
And it's really just what the culture's about either way. Like, hip hop and electronic music, because it all started free park jams, free house shows, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. I offered what I could offer to the artists. They said, cool. A lot of artists didn't want to play it because the money wasn't
Money wasn't there.
We didn't
whack.
care. And look, it's not even whack. That's their preference.
Right.
You didn't want so you wanted to play, you get your little $200, right? Or whatever, and you play some whack show. But you got your $200, that's cool, right? Nobody's talking about your show for the rest of the year. You got your $200 that you're going to spend on a light bill. Okay? All right? Or you could have been like, you know what? I'm going to play that show because I know how Oak City does.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what's crazy? It's like, what was crazy about that show is like me and Juice, Juice and me, whatever, I DJ.
Right. You guys
I'm
are
replaceable. Either way, we did our set and it was amazing, crazy, best, one of the definitely top 2 sets we've ever done.
Hey, man.
And I get off the stage and Sylvanesso, the 2 of them, just there, like,
chilling,
you
right?
you guys were amazing.
So you
That's amazing.
weren't gonna let that one slide. You're just gonna you're gonna name drop.
They were in.
You're like,
they were
hey,
in the
you're
crowd.
slums.
No,
you don't have to name drop.
I had a point here. I had a point here because I could. I got you. But no, so like someone like that, seeing them out of town really kind of put them into perspective for me. I always tell people when I went to South by last year and this year, they like not only packed out the crowd, had a whole city block wound up to see them.
Right.
You know, like that really put that in perspective because as you said, these are just the homies. They do stuff for the love. And you know, to have that in there, but you have these people that are like, you know, literally driving people insane outside of outside of this market.
Right.
Just to be there, just to show support.
Right.
Like that's an amazing thing.
I mean, I wasn't going to name drop. I mean, they're it's not uncommon to see them around. It's not uncommon to see the people that they're associated with. I mean, you know, when they're around, there's a likelihood there's going to be other big name, well-known artists around with them. And so, you know, Bon Iver has been at shows that, and, you know, I guess he has some correlation to North Carolina, but definitely because, you know, Nick and Amelia are around, they're probably doing some project together. I don't know. But
it made me feel stupid for name dropping. But that was exciting.
I think it's pointless. I'm not saying like you do it on purpose or you like whatever. I think it's pointless because I know a lot of famous people.
Right.
I know a lot of big name producers. I'm linked up with a lot of big name producers, and the fact is, they're doing their thing. And I've always appreciated that they've shown me love and they've put me on to certain things, but they've never handicapped me by putting me on when it was unnecessary.
Right.
Or I was undeserving. You know what I'm saying? So the fact is, Nick has been a big supporter of my music. He's been a big supporter of Roundhouse. The people around him, Amelia, his wife Amelia, their manager, all of them have done a lot of stuff for me. And I can name drop a lot of big name producers in the area that have done a lot for me. But when it comes down to it, I know for a fact I hustled to gain that respect from them.
Right. Yeah.
So the fact is, I know for a fact that Nick would not support something that was corny.
Right.
I know for a fact they wouldn't be at the party if it was corny. So the fact is, when Juice is doing his thing and you're DJing and I saw their faces while you guys were performing. I felt the energy in the room while you guys were performing. And I know for a fact that was just a moment, and they happened to be there.
Yeah,
so it's not. They didn't come to see me. They didn't come to see Juice or anybody. But they were surprised by the energy in the room. I know that because they told me that. But again, that's why I tell people it's like you really missed out. It wasn't. It's not. Again, I'm not trying to flex. It's just like real artists that you even respect and listen to are at these parties. Just tell you something about the parties we're throwing. You know what I mean? And the artists that we're putting on, you're just missing out. And the fact is, you know, even if they didn't, you still would be missing out if Nick and Amelia weren't there. If some of the other big name artists that were in the room,
what made the night. That's the thing. That's what's cool about it.
That's funny you say that because I was telling somebody usually like because Nick always slides through every event that we throw around the area. Not always, but I mean, if he's in town, he's probably going to pop through. But most of the people weren't there to see Nick. Usually, it's usually like Maid of Oak, or if he's on the flyer as Nick Sanborn or Maid of Oak, it's like this huge crowd there just to see Nick. And then when he plays, they bounce. It goes ghost town. Fact was, like Lavier went on after him and he killed it.
He did, yeah.
He killed it.
Yeah.
I was like, and people. I mean, the room felt like the room got more packed. It was crazy. And so the fact that Nick was there was cool for me just because that's the homie. You know what I mean? Like Nick has shown me a lot of love. I'm appreciative when he slides through and supports and then tells me great job. You know what I mean? Like so that's just it's not even for my ego. At this point I've played bigger shows with Nick. Yeah. I've done bigger things with Nick and Amelia. And so that show wasn't about that. It was just about, again, I was just as appreciative that Juice was there for like doing his thing. I was just appreciative that Lavier was there, Accent, Fells, Sarah, Foot Rocket, everybody who
Sarah
went.
was amazing, by the way.
She was crazy.
I've never seen her live. I've heard some of her stuff on SoundCloud.
That was the best set she's ever done, in my opinion.
Really?
I've seen her. I've seen her quite a few times, and it was the best set she's ever done. I feel like everybody put their best foot forward, which again, that's what is so surprising about the people I keep around me. The fact is, like, nobody was making money. I didn't make any money. I think I made $14 by the end of it was all said and done.
Yeah. Wow.
And nobody made much more than I did.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Except for like the guys who traveled to get
Traveled
here.
outside,
We gave them a little more money because they drove here, to be a part of it. But the fact is, I felt like I know for a fact that's the best I've seen Foot Rocket. I know for a fact that's the best I've seen Sarah. I know. I think it was one of my worst sets, to be honest. But
Really?
I felt like accident.
You had a lot going on though.
Yeah, I know.
You were really like I'll definitely give you props because you were
I gotta keep showing
maestroing that thing like crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like,
So, but everybody I saw except for Nick, I've seen Nick's always amazing to me. Like everything he does is pretty crazy. But he's on a certain level of expertise,
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he comes through with his thing and he does his thing. Like it's on the level he ever does it with anything else is the level he brings each time he's done an event with us. But everybody else that was on there, I feel like they did their best I've ever seen, and I think partially because most of them have never been in a room with that kind of energy. I'd say most.
no, that was
90% of the people on the bill have not played a show like that.
I've literally, I don't think I've ever seen a local show, like of all locals.
Right.
I think the most energy I've seen, like that level of energy, I think was matched at like Moog Fest in 2016 when Denzel Curry played at Motorco.
Crazy.
It was
That was
insane.
crazy.
But it was that level of energy.
It was, yeah,
for all
right. So
locals.
everybody was going crazy. It was
Yeah.
like, I mean, like it sounded like Wild Banshees and it was crazy, man. Like I remember thinking, like, man, like this is great. If nothing else happens good tonight, like,
Yeah.
it's already reached a level that I'm
That
just
was
like, this is
hopscotch for me. I didn't even cover it for Indie Week.
See,
this
that's
year.
what that, so
You know, and like
yeah, a lot of people felt the same way, and I was happy about that, and I'm glad. Hip hop looked good that night. Electronic music looked good that night. I think Raleigh looked put together, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not. It's like again, it's nothing against hopscotch. There's nothing against, but there. How do you have all that money and you can't put something hot on? You know what I mean? Like something that like the people that you know are in your city.
Yeah.
These are people you know in your city.
Yeah.
And you
got
can't
to see every day.
Yeah, man. You know
Every
what I mean?
day.
And so and again, that's not my party. And for some people, hopscotch was crazy. They got to see Miguel. They got to see Thundercat. They got to see a lot of artists they were looking to see.
I heard Vic Mensa's set was.
Oh, yeah. I
Terrible.
forgot. Yeah, Vic Mensa was on it. Yeah. I mean, and Bala was on it. That's a good look for her.
Yeah. No,
right?
amazing
So
for her,
a
yeah.
lot of this stuff is a good look for a lot of people, man. But, again, what it comes down to is what is it doing for the culture here? Like, as an artist in Raleigh, I think, like, is this really, like, what is this doing for, like, everybody else?
Right.
And for me, it didn't look like it really benefited everybody else. It's the same way. I mean, no slight to MoFest, but these guys have to make money, and
Right.
they're trying to come up with the best ways and ideas to keep that festival going.
Moog Fest had a bit of a PR disaster right in the middle of their thing, though. Like
It's okay though. It's okay. That's their thing. It's their again. To me, that's none of my business. What y'all decide to do as a PR plan, or you devise the plan to make things most appealing to the community around you. That's great. I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to be a part of it. I don't have to, But and then we did the same thing at Moog Fest. We
Right.
threw a party that blew the doors off.
Motorco,
Every artist
yeah.
that was on, I swear, I felt like every artist that was playing Moog Fest swung through the party.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that was like for us was like even a better party because we made it where it literally only like 50 or 60 people can actually fit into the actual place.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, but the system that was in there was bonkers.
Really.
Yeah, it was bonkers. We had Sean Hennessy subs provided by Party Illegal, Tree City, Queen Please, Play. That's their equipment. They provided the subs. And then I brought my QSCs. I have these big QSCs.
Okay.
And blew the doors off. I mean, the Durham Hotel at 4:00 in the morning was calling the cops on us.
Really?
And that's like almost
fire.
that's
fire,
many
man.
doors down.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they were
that's-
saying how loud it was. I was like, man,
That's awesome.
thank you.
Hell yeah.
The cops came and shut it down. It was awesome. Everybody was super cool about it. I mean, I think everybody, Raleigh's not used to partying that late, man.
Nah.
And so
Raleigh's
4 o'clock
not
came
about
around.
that.
I think everybody was ready to go home. Nobody wanted to tap out and look like a punk. You know what I'm saying?
That was like their excuse. That was
They're
like,
like,
your
oh,
out.
the cops are here. We got to go.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
no, shit. But all right, we're actually almost out of time. But
Really?
yeah,
See,
Yeah.
I'm a chatterbox, man. Sorry.
it's all good, man. But yeah, so I think everybody, like you just, you're killing it over
Yeah.
here. I think everybody who's a fan of you, a follower, wants to see you do.
Hey, there's more things.
Go
2019 is going to be,
bigger.
hey,
That's what I'm saying.
for
So
real,
like, what do you got going on? 'Cause you got the album out. The album's
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
It's everything I would expect from you because you have a very high bar that you set for yourself and the people around you.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. For sure.
So that so I feel like that album could bring you to other
Yeah.
places.
Oh,
Were you trying
yeah. I mean, the numbers look like they're going up and up and up on Spotify, and I don't know really how to check the numbers on Apple Music or Bandcamp, but I think I'm getting a lot of good reception for the record. Tomorrow at the Runaway store in Durham off Main Street at 8 o'clock until 11 o'clock, they're going to put on a little party. We're just going to get together. Ponysaurus sponsored the party. Red Bull sponsored the party.
Cool.
So swing through, even if you're just a mooch and you just want to get free beer and Red Bull. Come through, show love, dap me up, dap the homies up. The shirt will be on sale tomorrow at the store. So that's the immediate future. Don't forget, there's lots going on in Raleigh. I'm always a supporter of all the parties and all those shows going on. Groove in the Garden is on this weekend. You got the Leaf Show with Gemini and Tennis Rodman. So that's a lot of the immediate future stuff. And then the further future, we're always going to be Saturday nights at Emerge from 10 to 2. I'm the resident DJ there. But I'm inviting friends to come DJ. So get your tables ready. You know what I mean? Like we're just trying to make it a nice vibe there. We're going to have different music, probably play a bunch of Drake too. And then,
Isn't Kings doing the Drake night thing?
I don't know.
Didn't they do
I know. Ray does a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but I'm not just gonna play Drake. I'll probably play some. I don't play Tekashi at all. I've not played
No
a single.
Treyway?
No Treyway.
No Treyway
Not in my
beats?
set. Maybe somebody else's set. I just won't do it, man. And then I usually play a lot of house music throughout the night. But so we're gonna keep doing that on Saturdays from 10 to 2. And then we have I will be starting some workshops at Emerge. Some free Ableton workshops, some free Logic workshops, some free hardware workshops. I'll be inviting some friends to come show, basically it'll be free, but it'll be limited space. So people can come learn how to use Ableton. They can come learn
That's awesome.
how to implement hardware into their setup. Maybe learn how to use a piece of hardware for their live setup. It's pretty much production and music performance. We're going to cover just varying topics.
That's awesome.
Over time, the basics of maybe some small music theory, so to kind of get them up to speed on how to actually use the gear they're owning or using. And then 2019 is looking pretty crazy so far. I've got some dates I can't say are actually happening yet, but some stuff out of state, and then some big stuff in state that have been whispered to me but haven't been confirmed. And then but I'm looking forward to just basically connecting with more musicians in the area. I've already met a bunch of who did I meet? 19. Have you heard 19?
No.
19 Beats.
No.
She's out of Durham.
Okay.
Super dope. Like I've already met somebody. I'm like, wow, this person's amazing. Like, never heard of him. Saw him. I think Nick Gappa from Roundhouse. He knew
You
about
put you
her.
on. Okay.
Tree said he put me on to 19 first, and then she was already booked for their little Beats and Bars party.
Oh, okay.
They did at
Gotcha.
Quarter Horse.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah, just more community stuff I'm looking forward to. More, getting more people interested in music production and giving them opportunities to perform You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I want to see more hot shows, man. I want to see more people put on shows, and Party Legal seems to be getting a little more active, so I'm excited about that. And
they've been away for a while.
Yeah. So, but they did something a few weeks ago with TN made a appearance, played a set. Who else? Girl was on it, and Queen Please were on it.
Nice. Party Legal was actually the first show I ever covered.
Really?
You can't see.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what they're.
I thought it was
powerhouses, man.
Yeah, it was awesome. All right, well, we're out of time, but
y'all didn't get to listen to any music.
Definitely, yeah, right. I'll exit the hour with one of the tracks. What do you want to play coming out of the hour off the new album?
I'm just gonna off my new album.
Yeah.
Play the title track, Not Well.
Not Well?
Or Relax.
All right. We'll do Not Well.
Okay.
Title track.
There we go.
Easy to
boom. Come out to the party. Add me on Instagram at Oak City Slums. Say what's up.
Word.
Thank you guys.
Buy the t-shirt.
Buy the t-shirt for sure.
Actually, no, I can't say that. But
you can't say that.
No, man.
You're screwing up, man.
I'm messing up. I'm almost cursing online. Man, you just get, whatever. Either way. But yeah, check out Oak City Slums' new album, Not Well, on all the streaming services. And you can tune in next week. I'll be on here playing more music. Definitely playing some Oak City Slums and Juice and all those good people that you love and tune in for. Follow us on all the social media platforms at WKNC 881. You can follow me on Instagram at Real Iron Mike with a C, not K-E. That's what it is. All right, this is going to be Not Well from Oak City Slums, and I will see y'all next week. Peace.
Bounce.